Alright, what's up, YouTube? We're live. Welcome to another week of Acta Demo Sessions. If you're in the chat, say hi. We're here again in Cape Town for the second demo live stream we're gonna do. There are a few, or at least one new face you're gonna see later. We want to share with you all of the updates, the things we've been working on this week. Before we get into it, Joe, how was the week? How are you feeling? How's life?
I need the mic.
What's up, stream? Joe here. Nice to see you.
I'm doing really good, actually. It was a mixed week, ups and downs, but overall, I just looked through the results. Actually, it's quite fun. It's really nice. I'm happy to share you later. But yeah, happy to have you, Luis, in the stream. Thanks for joining. What do you want to say?
Always my pleasure. Thank you. We figured out a few improvements to the stream, so now the audio should be nicer. Let us know. What's up, Hendrik? What's up, Alpha CEO? Shanoon, Justus, good to have you here, I would say. Let's get going. Before we start with the updates on its venture, I want to show you something I've been working on. It's just a small update, but I think cool to show, which is the updated Acta website. And here actually shout out to Luca, one of the guys of our team in Germany right now. He did a nice improvement to the overall website design. It's still very basic. We didn't really spend too much time on it, but just wanted to have an upgrade on, what we're working on, the people actually get a sense for the things we're all about, came up with a good description, sort of what we do. And then I think the most interesting thing on the website, which is new, is our missions tab, where we did a small change, basically, how we operate. We used to always work in those weekly circles where we did planning on Mondays, what is happening this week, and then on Friday check in and then do it every week. However, we noticed that the nature of work, especially in product, works more in missions, where you go from one project, you have a mission, and finish that, then kind of cool down, and then go to the next one. And those missions can sometimes take multiple weeks, and so forth. So what we now did is open source the 3 missions we now clearly defined for the things we're working on. So you will see basically updates from each of these missions in a bit. And if you go to details, you also see how we actually define them. So we always go through the why we're working on something, then the what exactly is part of the project, how does success look like for this mission, and then finally the scope. And we want to basically open source all of this so people, can see what we're working on and build this company truly in public. So this is just a small update from my side. You want to add something?
Yeah. I think that's super cool. Now it looks way cooler than it used to look. We had that on the side earlier. We had like our North Star, some metric, and our weekly goals, as you said. And actually quite funny, I had an interview for a designer once, and he said that was the coolest thing he saw because he's never seen that before. The company actually building in public with their tasks even. And so I think it's really cool that this is back, but like now on a bigger scope. Because we realized, okay, weekly might not be the best, but this looks cool to me. It looks also fucking epic from the design. So yeah, glad to have it back.
So shout out to Luca for making this section really, really nice. And now I would say this is a great transition to the first project, which is Project Nova. Eli, are you ready? Let's go. All right. By the way, we also decided last week that if you guys have questions and are sharing that in the stream, we want to answer right away. We don't do a Q&A after. You can just spam whatever question you have, and we try to kind of take them on as they fit to what we're sharing. But for now, the man Elias, lead designer, product mastermind behind Nova. Amazing person, exactly. Most importantly, let's go. What have you been working on this week?
Damn, so for those who don't know, it's both Arda and me working on Project Nova, which is essentially kind of the new iteration of Reflector that we came up with after about, 40 feedback calls or so.
Where's Arda?
Where's Arda? Good question. Is he in stream?
No, he's not.
He's not. Okay, he's probably sleeping. He's done a lot of bug fixes today, I gotta say. You mind opening Figma? Thanks. All right. In the last stream, for those who have watched, you may have seen, me just kind of having gotten finished with the designs and maybe like the first kind of rough version of it on my phone. This week we kind of set out to launch, but more on that later. But I really wish I could tell you that everything went super smoothly and we barely had any issues, and it was just, me and Arda throwing PRs back and forth. But that's not really what happened. So
what is Project Nova again, or what is Reflector?
Oh yeah,
basic idea?
good to bring that up. Basically, Reflector is an AI coaching app, which basically is built to help you push through with your goals, kind of find clarity on what you want in the first place, and then also kind of give you daily actions to move closer to it. And previously we had launched the first iteration of it, I think like 12 days ago or so. I have like 3 paying users, so I haven't really found product market fit or have really good retention yet. So Project Nova is kind of the experiment that we're running in order to improve those metrics. All right. So as you can see here, I could probably spend a whole day just talking about the issues which we were running into, from LLM hallucinations, time zone errors, where you would get a notification by Nova at 10 p.m. asking how you slept, which I don't know about you, but should probably not happen. Then we've had some Expo build errors, some critical UI bugs, which we only found, I think, 3 days ago during testing with the team. So overall, things were a bit messy up until now, basically, because now the good news is the app is ready, at least almost. We're still missing some analytics, and there's a couple of minor things which we gotta fix, but most of the critical stuff is done. Now, I actually prepared a little demo. I would love to show it to you on my phone, but basically this is the main coaching interaction on the homepage. I'll also show in a bit that now the voice mode is working, which I think cost us like 3 days. But basically it's just, asking me how things went. It has like all the context of everything I've done before. I've basically been using it daily since building it. And funny enough, actually, I got to show you something, because you can see here how I was talking about the demo, and actually just now I got a notification on how the demo went, so I can basically go right back into the coaching and.
So to say something, it was so funny to see you play with your own product all day, like all week. Basically, Elias thought the entire week was just on the couch, no, not on the couch, but like talking to Nova and like, oh, Louis, look, this is so cool and so cool. And I think it's a step in the right direction where it really becomes this companion in your life. And the more I now see this come to life, the more confidence I also have that I think it will really help a lot of people out there. So yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely funny to use your own app in order to build your own app in a way. Yeah. So, but more on that in a bit. So now the big win this week kind of was that we were able to launch to the team on test flight. Actually found like, I don't know how many super critical bugs on the way, but we now fixed those since we're planning to launch this thing to the first 100 users on Saturday, which is tomorrow. So there's still a couple of things, that need to be done until then, but I'm actually very confident that we can pull it off.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the thing we learned is that the implementation of apps or software products always take a bit longer than you anticipate. We initially were a bit too optimistic on the timeline. And one thing we learned is we should always factor in this internal test run, because often in the past we were so rushed to give it to actual people, but then there were just obvious flaws, right? So I think having this safety gate now in the way we think about the release cycle and so forth is really, really nice. So yeah, thank you so much. By the way, Kolo, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Are you still able to see the chat or no? We can... Good question. So are you able to see the chat from the messages? Do you want to talk to that? Basically, when you talk to, let's go a few slides back. So here, how you basically to see the past messages is a question from Kolo.
Yeah. So actually, there's this little clock on top, which essentially shows your timeline of all the coaching sessions you've ever had, which gives you like some key insights, some of the quotes you had, and basically just a summary, just like a coach would put up.
Yeah. So maybe let us know in the chat if this summary that you see from a session, where we have key insights, even quotes, it's quite detailed, if this would be enough for you, or if you would actually prefer message by message to replay it. Maybe there is a need. Let us know in chat, we'll have a look later. So thank you for the question. Let's continue with Joe, because, an amazing app doesn't help you without distribution. And Joe is our guy for growth when it comes to Reflector and Project Nova. Not on the social media part, that's the media team. However, there's other stuff. Joe, how's the week been? What have you accomplished?
Well, quite honestly speaking, this week was super frustrating, but not because I didn't achieve anything. Quite the opposite, actually. But the week didn't feel like I was achieving much because I was reaching out a lot over email. Let me talk you through what I did this week to explain you why it was so frustrating. So my focus topics of this week was one, generating backlinks, and then two, writing blogs. Writing blogs went more into the background because I realized, okay, that's not the biggest driver for now, whilst generating backlinks is the bigger driver to rank us quicker. But what is backlinks? So backlinks is when, for example, the New York Times writes about us, about an AI coach just emerging from Berlin and it's the coolest thing out there, and then they link us. And then some people read it from New York and say like, hey, that's probably quite cool for me. I'm super stressed. I have some problems. This might be a good solution for me. So they go into our website through this link. And that's how Google in the end finds out, okay, this is a trustworthy website and this might be really of value for people. So because Google doesn't want to show you websites which are of no value, but they want to show you what's actually valuable for people. So that's really generating backlinks. And I was trying to do that because of course now we still don't have the highest reach and people are not starting to write about us by themselves, but we need to initiate it first. So I was writing to a lot of newspapers, websites, website owners, blog owners, and all of that through email, and was trying the cold approach, and nothing really happened. It felt like nothing happened at all. Like I didn't receive many answers from emails because obviously they also want to make money, so mostly they just do paid collabs, sponsorships. However, on Monday I did something interesting. I integrated the community into this because they can also be part of this, no? So I just did a quick story on Instagram and said, hey, who wants to help us out and write on their website about us? So we got a few positives back from that. But let me walk you through. First of all, we did a few new blogs. So there's, I think, 10 new blogs on the website right now. There's a few in the line still. Over this week, we generated probably a total of like 5 blogs. Not too many. As I said, my focus shifted. But you can still go on the website, on the blog section. Super interesting insights there. Again, now from a scientific perspective, how does neuroscience affect growth? Or how is it even really triggered? And some interesting reads there. But more interestingly, this week, as I said, we did this Instagram story on Monday saying, hey, who wants to help us? And as of now, we already have 2 people who really put something on the website. And a few more saying, hey, we want to help you. Like I think it was 10 in total. One I found really cool on Medium. Somebody just wrote about us. He created an account on Instagram. He's called The Positive Person. Shout out to you. Thank you for really helping us here. And he wrote a really nice blog about us. And at the very bottom, he linked us as Reflector. And that in the end helps us, you know. And then it was also Knowles who wants to put us on his website. The blog section is not up and running yet, but we handed the blog over and he said, hey, it's cool, let's post it. So shout out to Knowles as well. Thank you very much for helping us. This really helps. And your website, by the way, looks really cool. So we are happy to be on that. And now that's all the headings, right? But let me show you into the numbers what that affected. Because up until today even, I thought, okay, nothing much happened. Our domain rating was at 1. And I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, I was so frustrated. I did all those sweat and tears into that and then nothing really happened. However, just like 10 minutes before the live stream, I checked the website again, 8 refs actually, and it jumped from 1 to 18.
Let's go.
And so that means we have now, so far there's only 2 referring domains, so other websites which linked us. However, Google always takes a while until it registers more. There should be more on that, but at least the domain rating is already up. But what is the domain rating? Should I explain a bit? Roughly.
So I think we have videos on that, right? For SEO, you should just watch the YouTube video.
Real quick, just a very quick update, because the people don't know. Domain rating is just a rating which says, okay, you're trustworthy. So if there's many people linking to you, that's not from Google itself, that's from SEO sites which create this rating. And the higher the rating, the higher the likelihood is that you're gonna be linked for certain keywords. That's really what it is, very roughly. But yeah, so I was really happy to see this, the jump from 1 to 18. And speaking of which, as Knowles and The Positive Person collab with us, thank you very much again. If you want to be named or presented in the next live stream, feel free to reach out to me. You can, it's in the description down below. You can just text me on Instagram or just write me an email. The @ shouldn't be before that, but yeah, it's just Joe at Acta. No two words. But yeah, it's in the description. So just reach out to me if you want to put a blog up for us. We can also maybe collab and do something nice there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Nice, thank you so much. And with SEO, you know, optimizing for Google search, also LLM search, if you type into ChatGPT a relevant query, these things take time. So even though if you really grind into it, you have 20 articles last week, I think you published, which was quite outstanding. It takes time to get picked up and so forth. So I think it's also good for you though to really get a feel for what is really driving what, right? Is it backlinks? Is it more high quality backlinks? Is it even social media citations? Is it something else? Is it Reddit? Like, we don't know. This is exactly, I think, where you also need to experiment more to really get the results quickly. But I think we're on a good track. And again, so cool that people on the internet who are following us, who are part of our movement, our community, are helping out. It's amazing. On SEO more specifically, we also recorded a very extensive deep dive with Leo, the head of growth of Jamie. You can check out our YouTube channel where we break down SEO in detail. I think it was useful to you to get started as well. So you should watch. Yeah.
Thanks, Leo. I learned a lot.
All right. Also, what's up? Nolki from South Africa. Thanks for coming to the chat. We published the first blog. It was actually a big win for the week. More on that later with the media team. But for now, let's continue with Akshat, I think, right? Cool. So this was the update now all around Reflector, Project Nova, the growth we're doing there. And now we're continuing with Akshat, who's building Org OS. Quickly, sorry, before we jump into it, I want to answer one more question. Do we also work on SEO for LLMs like ChatGPT or just Google at the moment? We're actually working on both. I mean, there's a close tie. ChatGPT also has their way of ranking certain sites. It probably works in a similar way as Google, even though we don't know specifically. But also I think Joe is looking more into tools how we can observe that and also rank better there. Because what you actually see in the market is that a lot of searches are shifting away from Google, more towards ChatGPT. So people are actually looking for products on ChatGPT, not Google anymore, at least a large chunk of the internet. So we're obviously also focusing on that. But yeah, I think the dynamics are quite similar. So yeah, if you have other questions, just shoot them our way. But now to Akshat and Org OS. Org OS, yeah, is basically something that we want to use internally for Acta to arrange and organize our team where we can define roles, metrics, and so forth. And Akshat is the engineer behind that and the builder behind that, right? And together we've been working on this a bit. I'm super stoked to see what you've been working on. There was a ton of stuff you added. From last week, it was just a rough, UI, but now there's more to show. So let's hand it over to you. I'm excited to see.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Like compared to last week, we did a lot of stuff and testing, and now basically we are focusing on cutting down and user experience stuff. Yeah, but if you don't know, like to give you an idea behind OrgOS is easier KPI tracking and having clear roles for your product. So, you can have clear roles defined for your team, and you can have data to track, okay, which things are going up and which things are not going up. Yeah. So still we are working a lot on the UI, but this week basically I've focused a lot on UI, and it's some of this fancy stuff which, yeah, maybe not so useful in this start, but still, it makes the product fun and development more fun. Yeah, so yeah, so I can show you guys some of the integration and the metrics that are working for us now. So we have integrations set up where we can connect more platforms and get more data. So right now we have 2, but we can easily connect more things, and we can pull data from YouTube. We can pull data from Posthawk and a lot of other things which are coming soon. And let me jump to the metrics. Yeah, okay. So for example, on GitHub, we can track last week what was my commit activity like, let's just say. So I create a metric here, and then I get that added, and I instantly go on my dashboard. Yeah. And you can see here already we have some of the metrics present, where you can see GitHub stats or categories or some other data. Yeah, this is still rough and maybe not the relevant metrics, but we are still figuring out what the nice metric should be because we don't want to overload the users with like maybe 1,000 metrics, and we want to give them templates so they can just easily choose between 5 or 10, which can basically define how your organization is performing right now. So you don't need 10,000 metrics. Yeah, a lot of stuff you see right now is also for testing and development, but in the final product it will be way less. Yeah, but still. Yeah, any questions you can send in the chat.
Well, I can say you have a lot of fans in the chat. There were like 3 or 4 people commenting "goat" when you started talking. So shout out to the fans of Akshat. Yeah, so I think this is a good foundation now, because even though now it looks like, yeah, you just pull data from one source to the other, the cool thing is we are building a platform where you can combine all of the data you use in your startup and your company, right? And very easily have a super nice dashboard to look how your company is doing, and just one look. And we want to make this really easy for founders who are leading their teams to basically give a team a nice dashboard and no longer any weird Google Sheets where you need to manually go in and so forth. So this is now the stepping stone that the data fetching infrastructure behind it is done, I would say. And we get this first experience how to combine the data and so forth. So yeah, it's a great update. And yet I'm super excited to now simplify this more and really bring it more to the use case. But yeah, so far good work. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I would say like just last week has been changing developer thinking into product thinking a lot, and yeah, it has been challenging, but like that's what I would say building good product rather than well-engineered product looks like. So yeah, exciting stuff, and I'm happy to show you great work next week. Yeah.
And just imagine, all of this is real data. This is no mock data. This is really coming from our GitHub, from all of the sources we're using. So it is very nice. Cool. Thank you so much, Akshat. There was one question in chat, what we kind of did for the founding engineer, or that we recruited. So last week we shared a quick reel online where we're looking for someone to join us on a little side project. Together with a big music producer in Berlin, there's a few ideas we want to play and build in the music space. Quite challenging to build, and we just had it real, and so far we had already a few applications, and we're still in the process of selecting the right ones. So the ones who applied, we're going to reach out to you probably by the end of the week for a technical case, so we can get a better view of how you're doing. So if anyone that is watching is interested in working with us on this side project, we're going to work for 30 days together. If it goes well and launch it to the first 100 people and there's good signal, we're going to turn this into a company with you as a founding engineer. So I think quite a cool opportunity for you to build a company together with us if it goes well. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the reel on our Instagram feeds of acta.so and yeah, apply. And maybe we'll be working together really soon. So thanks for that question. Now we continue with a new face you have never seen before. That's the face. What's up, bro? Johan flew in from Germany on Monday. You flew from Berlin, right? Yeah, okay, fresh from Berlin. And this is our new latest addition to the team member. We're all really excited to have you here, finally in Cape Town, and starting to work together on some stuff. And I think we're working also one of the most interesting projects as well. I mean, all of the things we do are really interesting, but this is also at the cutting edge of AI and large language models. And yeah, we're working on this Agent OS, right? Which essentially tries to build a future of where you can prompt a company into existence. I think this is the long-term vision we can describe. However, I think you're better off describing what we're doing at the moment. So yeah, I'll hand it over to you, and I'm excited to see what you worked on this week. And welcome to Cape Town, welcome to the team, welcome to Acta. Let's go, give it up for Johan, let's go.
Yeah, hey, it's been a crazy week. Like, I don't honestly know where to start. But just to give you, wait, isn't this one? Yeah, just a bit. Just to give you like a sort of glimpse of what I'm going to work on over the next few weeks. So Agent OS is more of a research project, I'd say, for the first 2 weeks. It comes from this whole idea. We've got like very sort of non-technical like focused products, something like Lovable, something like Replit, where you just prompt and you get results, and that's nice for non-technical users. But it's very, very hard for them to make something that's outside of this like very narrow scope. And on the other side, we've got like all the tools that I've developed over the last like 1 to 2 years, all the cursors, the Cloud Codes, the Codex tools that are like really, really good for technical users to like 5x, 10x their workflows. We just feel there's something in the middle that's missing, like something for, especially for non-technical users or people who just want to delegate work, who want to build companies autonomously, who need something in between that works for them on their behalf, doesn't hallucinate, doesn't get lost, and doesn't need a lot of feedback and input from the user just in time, right? And I'm sure you know, like if you're like a technical user, if you prompt stuff in something like Cursor, there's always this like time in between, where you miss out, where you wait for a prompt to finish just to reevaluate and get back to working. So this is like the whole idea behind AgentOS. It's basically a collection of autonomous agents that work together, cut down on sort of basically a big task, cut it down into like smaller pieces, delegate to smaller and smaller agents, so that each sub-agent always has just like one tiny thing to work on, similar to like an issue that you would have in a version management system. And the idea is that we have like a very sort of intelligent yet complex system that looks at all this sort of work that has to be done, delegates it, and then puts it back together to sort of build a fully fledged company, or at least a product. Again, we're just working on the MVP for now. But the idea is that we can automate the whole sort of development and sort of creation of a company from a single prompt, with a tiny bit of input here and there if you feel like it, but everything else should work well. I've got some wireframes, some sort of smaller UI things that are already sketched out, but again, for the most part, I'm working a lot with trying out different workflows, different sort of agents and combinations, doing tons of prompt engineering to figure out where the issues lie. And yeah, so that's definitely something I'm gonna continue working on over the next few weeks. I honestly don't want to go into detail all too much, but I've sketched out some things, and I'm ready to show you possibly end of next week in the next demo on a small sort of sample task that we're also working on internally in Acta to see how it compares to something that a human would develop in the same time.
Thank you so much, and super exciting stuff. For the ones who work a lot with AI, whether it's in Cursor or other, products which are more focused on less technical people, you just know that these long-running tasks tend to sometimes just really suck. Like the promise of agents doesn't really work yet, at least for like more complex tasks. And the idea is really to think about, hey, how can we orchestrate a whole army of agents for the future? Because there will be companies that are basically built AI native, right? And there will always be an interaction between the human and the large language models and agents that are powering this. But we think this level above that orchestrates all of this will be extremely important. So this research question, I think, is truly exciting, and I think we have the right guy to help us out. One question from the chat was, who are you and what's your background? What did you do, Johan? Let's do your little like introduction for the Acta community. Thanks, Hendrik and Noki, for the question.
Yeah, during university, I just finished like a bit more than a year ago. I studied computer science, and yeah, I worked for a startup, and we had sort of very sort of Golang focused streaming stack. You have to think about it's basically companies, podcast studios, radio, smaller streaming sites that basically have a content stream, but they're not very interested in sort of muxing, transcoding ads into that. So they buy a solution, which was again like something we developed. So a lot on like HLS dash like streaming, like very sort of low level stuff, optimizing for cache and CPU time. And after that, I worked for 6 months at Deloitte, doing tons of consulting, more towards like the software engineering side. But I for sure saw that that's like not something I want to do in my life, and that's why I'm here at Acta.
Awesome, we're really grateful to have you, and I'm so excited for building out AgentOS together with you. So thanks so much for this update. Cool, before we continue with media, there's one question I want to talk about, which is, can't wait for the next Startup University video. Glad you asked. This week I was working on a little internal project, which is called Acta University, where we want to create the best startup course in the world on company building. I mean, there's existing resources from Y Combinator which are excellent, and at the same time we think sometimes the tactical depth is missing of those lessons, and there's still a lot of more context we think is useful for founders who are just starting out to truly understand deeply for them to be successful. And I'm basically creating this for the team here, so everyone can have the same intellectual understanding of what it takes to build a startup. Of course, this is not enough. In the end, it's all about doing the thing, taking the first steps, iterating from there onwards. But we're working on this right now. And our goal is to make this free to anyone. So basically, we want to create the world's best startup school for anyone in the world to do for free, which is not just 10 videos, but actually 35 or so videos and really good lessons combined with, a weekly program. So this is the first prototype we're building. Actually, let me show you where we are right now in terms of progress there. And then we actually continue with the media side. So this is just very basic. It's not ready yet. It's just the start. But here you already have the first lesson that I added. The video is not done, so this is just a placeholder video. But this is sort of what the school will look like. So you have learning objectives. You can practice this directly with ChatGPT if you open a session that guides you sort of through the session. And then you have further resources here on the site, and then can go through the lesson. And I'm actually spending a lot of time writing these out very carefully, so you get the best quality education out there on startups. So this is what is gonna happen. Now, I would say we continue with media, right? It is for free. Did I not say that? Did I say that 3 times? No? Yeah, okay, no. So the university is going to be for free because we believe that knowledge is basically a right to anyone in the world. And we've seen so many cool, talented people from communities that we never thought of, from India to other countries, that are excited to build their own thing, but sometimes knowledge is missing. And we want to really do this as the first course that we open source. What do you say? Shout out to the Indians from Akshat. Shout out to all the Indians. Okay. It's getting too crowded with the Germans in the team. Yeah, well, fair enough. All right, Chris, you want to join?
Finally.
Now we're gonna talk about media. The lovely guy behind the vlog. Actually, I know it's in the presentation, but still, again, shout out to you and Justus. Justus is sick at home. Justus, get better soon. Yeah, but
he's in the chat though, so write Justus a message.
But I wanted to say it's so cool. We published the first main vlog on our Acta YouTube channel. And man, we went a bit viral for, the stage we're at, which was crazy to see. I think out of the sudden, after like 4 hours when it was live, we started picking up. This was such a highlight moment for us this week. But yeah, tell us, how did the week go for you on the media side?
So this week was unfortunately not as good as last week. However, we still shipped a lot of content. First of all, Justus is unfortunately missing, just like Louis said. Hopefully you're going to be healthy tomorrow. So the table of content. First, we're going to look at the numbers. Then, what did we ship to the world? And after that, the lessons and the system we implemented for us. And yeah, let's just hop right into the numbers. So we hit 11.4K on Instagram, which is actually pretty impressive because we gained 1.4K followers with just one reel in the week. We don't talk about that. We should have probably shipped I think 5 or 6, but we unfortunately just shipped 1, which is pretty bad. But we are public. We are building a public, so we need to also say that. And still it was pretty impressive because it's even better than last week. And yeah, TikTok is pretty, let me say, complicated right now. We only gained 200 followers there, so we don't have to talk about that. However, still pretty impressive week. We gained over 60K views. We posted 7 reels, 6 test reels and 1 main reel on Acta Instagram. And still very impressive actually if you look at the numbers.
The number that makes me actually most happy is always the amount of shares and the amount of saves. So if we sum this up, it's more than 2,000 times that someone saved or shared the content to someone else, which to me is the biggest proxy for value actually, because you don't share or save something if it's not something you want to come back to later. So nice. Let's continue with the rest.
Let's continue. So actually, what did we ship to the world? That's actually the most important part that we are always focusing on in Acta. We are always talking about, okay, don't look at the numbers, look at what you are shipping to the world, what are people actually seeing. And what they saw this week was 1 Acta main reel, as I said, 6 test reels, 3 Luis Mogner reels actually, 1 test reel and 2 main reels published on this account. And we actually posted 1 YouTube video. Maybe you have seen it. It gained a lot of traction, as Luis already said, 2.6K, which is very, very good for the second YouTube video, I think. And I think you can probably compare it to an Instagram post, which gained 40 to 50K views, which is amazing. So yeah, and maybe we can have a quick look on what we posted.
Want to share with audio?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably, yeah, I will talk, it's all good. Yeah, it's the Luis collab reel that we published with Acta. It was about the little side project Luis wants to do. Are you, yep.
We ready?
Yep.
Swear to God, life is not sucks so.
This is our day. Yesterday, a big music producer from Berlin hit me up.
Bro, I swear to God, life is not sucks so damn bad.
So we want to team up with you to make life of an artist less shitty. Quick spoiler, it is probably the hardest engineering problem you've seen in the music industry for decades. So if you dare to try, here's the deal. We're gonna work on a side project together for 30 days. And then launch it to the first 100 users. And if it goes well, we'll turn this into a company with you as the founding engineer. All you need to do is apply using the link in my bio. And with a bit of luck, we're gonna start working together really soon. We're trying to catch nerds, and
So this was the reel. What do you think about it? Because it was also your collab post, right?
yeah, collab posts are awesome, right?
Yeah, actually we figured out that collab posts are pretty shit.
What happens with
At least that what we experienced, because you are getting like 2 target groups. Yeah, so yeah. But what did you think about the reel?
Well, I liked the reel. I think it was really funny. Justus had a great idea to include Joe as our little fish we were fishing for, representing a nice engineer who wants to work with us, right? Apply. Link in bio. No, but I think the quality of production is really good. Just the one thing I learned is Instagram doesn't like me. I don't know if it's because of my face or my hair. Bro, like every reel we post on my account never goes viral or anything, bro. It's so frustrating. Like, guys, tell me what is wrong with me so I can fix myself. Yeah, thank you. Okay, back to you.
Maybe we are hopping into the YouTube video for like the first 50 seconds. If you haven't seen it, a great recommendation, and let's go.
When 6 strangers get on a plane, fly to a foreign country and lock themselves in to pursue their dream of building $1 billion company together. Honestly, no idea. But here's how it's going.
Hi.
Hello. Oh shit.
Hello, my name is Luis.
Hi.
So that was the quick little intro of the YouTube video. We put there a lot of hours in there actually, and we are about to do a second YouTube video probably next week. And yeah, you can be very excited on what we are planning to bring on YouTube. And is the Figma? Yeah, or the Figma board, like, yeah. And yeah, let's hop into the and as well we published 2 Acta Unfiltered videos. Shoutouts on to Justus. He's always grinding in the morning to get them out. It's just a raw look, a behind the scenes look on how we are actually doing everything. It's a bit chaotic. We are still trying to figure out the branding. However, it's still a very nice vlog, and maybe you just want to eat something and just be entertained for a couple of minutes. I think that's what Acta Unfiltered is about, if you just want to see more of the Acta space.
By the way, I want to read out a quick question, which was, what's the follower goal for end of year? Then Justus said 25k. Then Shannon the legend said, no, at least 50, bro. What do you think? What is the follower goal by the end of the year for Instagram?
For Instagram, so not overall. Follower growth at the end of the year, bro. That's just 1.5 months in. I probably think, like, realistically and with like a bit of ambition there, I think 25k or 30k would be amazing. Everything above would be great. Everything below that would be okay, average, I think. And yeah, that's how I think about it. But Justus is a bit delusional, but I love it. I love it. We have to, we have to set delusional goals to be delusional company. So lessons and system. Actually, the reason why we didn't publish as much Acta reels as you saw was that we learned a bit more about systems and the lesson behind it. Last week we tried to get our branding or focus on Reflector as well. However, it was not like the best choice to focus on that, because we already filled the waitlist and we are basically waiting on publishing like Nova to the public. And yeah, that's the reason why we came up with a new plan or new branding strategy that we want to test just for like 1 or 2 weeks, where we are focusing on that 4 brands: Acta, Luis, Chris, and Justus. Maybe it's the system that we need, maybe not. We will see. But that's what we came up with. And yeah. And as well, just because you figured out last week doesn't mean you are figuring out the next week. That's what I learned the hard way, and Justus probably as well, because last week was actually amazing, like an incredible week. We shipped so much. However, this week was exactly the opposite, and this just is showing us that momentum and motivation and drive is nothing with a good system or routines. And this is what's going to decide whether you are going to be the best or the worst. Baddest? I don't know, bro. So, the last question, the most important question, what would you like to see? I think that's the most important thing I can share or ask. So, just write it in the live stream chat.
Awesome. Yeah, actually there's a few guys, people who are just active. One thing that Justus said, which I think is really important, it's not about just followers, it's about the right followers, right?
Exactly.
Because we also want to really take a conscious approach. What does a follower mean? You know, if it's just a number that goes up or like a view, it can feel nice, but in the end, it's also about the impact. Is someone actually interested in your brand and the story you're telling and the work you're doing? You're looking for real fans, and this is also why we call it social fans, for example, in the metric, because we were looking really for fans who resonate with the work we do, who really want to be up to date with what we ship, the products we put out, and so forth. And this is why we also, although it's nice to see a growth in numbers, we're really picky about the topics we also do, because we want to reach the right people. So this is, I think, an important insight. One more person shared that they're also building a startup in Berlin. Congrats, very nice. If you need a space to work at, you can use our office. Just DM Joe or Insta account. There's still, I think, 1 or 2 desks open right now. Happy to help you out if you're looking for a nice space to work at. Just DM us on Instagram. Is there any other questions? Oh, Justus, good question. By the way, let's go to full screen. Good call. Justus was asking whether I plugged letters to a young maker yet. Last week I had an idea. The idea was I already write every day about the things I learn, and I was always missing sort of a place where I can put this nicely out on the internet. And out of a bit of inspiration from Justus also, I decided to, now every day I'm going to record a mini podcast, which is like just 1 or 2 minutes, called Letters to a Young Maker, which is a reference to Rainer Maria Rilke, who's written a book, Letters to a Young Poet, where I share a very personal lesson for the young makers out there, for kind of my younger self 10 years ago. And this is out on Spotify now, and I'm sharing a small episode every day. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, Justus, share the link in the chat. Go on the podcast, just listen to 1 episode. It's great. It's such a good advice.
All right. Guys, did you forget anything? No. Half of the guys are already at sleep in the back, but that's okay. It's getting dark in Cape Town. Are you hungry? Yes. Yeah, so okay. What did you say? And he also wants to smoke a cigarette. Eli wants to smoke a cigarette. Now for everyone out there. Kids, don't smoke, don't do drugs. All right. For everyone who was joining this week, thank you so much. It honestly means the world for us, even if there's, just a few messages going around, seeing the chat being active. It really makes, I think, all week, because we're not doing this just for us, because of the work, we're doing it for people out there. Because everything we're building is here to serve humanity in a small way. If it can just make life better a tiny bit for some person out there, this is what it's all about. So seeing this resonance in the beginning really motivates us, and I think it's just incredible for every single one here to see. See you again next Friday, as every week, Friday 6:15 p.m. CET here on YouTube. And if you have more questions, ideas, collaboration ideas, DM us on Instagram. We're really active there. We do get quite a few messages, so we need to get better at responding. But if there's anything, we always love to hear your resonance. So to everyone in the chat, thank you for joining. For the people who are watching this now, thanks for watching. See you again next week.